Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Jones, and thank you and welcome to this very special interview with Biopic TV and Brian K. Moore. Good evening, Kenny. How are you doing? Or good afternoon.
Doing well, Ingram. How are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Thank you so much for taking time out of a very busy schedule to be on Biopic TV.
No problems. No problems.
So for those people who don't know who you are, and you're referred to as Brian K. Moore. I refer to you more as Kenny. Is that okay for you?
Oh, that's fine, Ingram.
Okay. So Kenny, for those people who are just tuning in to watch, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I guess the most important thing is I used to be the former manager along with Andretta Tillman, and Matthew knows the group Girls Time that eventually became Destiny Child. I'm the author of the book, The Making of a Child of Destiny, and it's the Andretta Tillman story. At present, we're now in the process of shooting the documentary based off of the book and to tell Andretta's story, as well as later this year we'll start production on the actual movie, The Making of a Child of Destiny, the Andretta Tillman story. So
there's so many things, so many angles, so many ways we could start this off. For those people who don't know who Destiny's Child is, what did the group consist of?
Well, the original group when I came on board was 6 girls. It was 2 younger sisters, Nikki and Nina. Then you had Latavia Roberson, Kelly Rowland, Beyonce knows, and Tamar Davis, who a lot of people may know her from her appearance on The Voice recently.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just tell me a little background as to how they became the band that we all know and love now. See, when you started with them, they were pretty young.
Yeah, they were pretty young, and it took us roughly before they became, known as Destiny, then Destiny Child, and as the world came to know them. It was a journey of about 7-8 years before we got there, and members coming in, members going out, and things of that nature. So it's it's too long a story to tell.
Absolutely. But I mean, where does the name Destiny's Child actually come from?
Now, I've heard stories that somehow Tina saw it in the Bible and things of that nature. But from what I recall, what happened was Andretta had a niece. Her name was Destiny, and like she was a newborn baby, and liked the name Destiny, and that's where Destiny came from originally. But what we discovered was that there was another group called Destiny. And so we couldn't officially use that name. Thus, once we found that out, the child was added.
Okay, so tell us some of the misconceptions or some of the stories you've heard about Destiny's Child in terms of the management structure, stuff like that, that we can be clear about before we go forward.
Well, I think the biggest misconception is that, Matthew Knowles did everything.
Right.
And he was the mastermind behind, getting the group their success. And that was not necessarily the case. I mean, Andretta Tillman did most of the leg work. And as she got sick, Matthew became more of the face or the legs of the actual that people got to see, because Andretta was unable to get around and go to a lot of these meetings. So people saw Matthew, but Andretta was the one pulling the strings that made everything happen.
Tell us a bit more about Andretta Tillman, this woman that doesn't get as much credit as she actually deserves.
No, she don't. Anne was a very wonderful lady, very family oriented, crazy as almighty get out, and didn't mind cursing you out or telling you about yourself. But great friend. Couldn't ask for a better friend. Couldn't have, she became more of a mentor and things of that nature. Then our, partnership developed into a great friendship. And, ultimately we became like family. So.
I know you told me before that without Andretta Tillman, they would not have been a Destiny's Child. Why is that the case?
Well, the case of the matter is it took monies. It took connections. See, a lot of people think, that when Matthew came on board that he went and had this Rolodex of people that he went and created. That was not the case. Andretta had people around that were in the music industry, like Teresa White, LaBarbara White. Her and Ann, when I first came on board, it was nothing for them to be on the phone every night. And this is when the girls were 19-year-olds. And so, and if it was time, once the girls got ready or something came about, Ann would always call Teresa and say, okay, hey, I think it's time for a showcase. The girls are ready, or Taste is ready, or other groups that she had were ready. And Teresa would come do the first screen of the showcase. And then from there, she would go and schedule the showcase that you see in New York and in LA when they got their contracts and stuff like that. But Ann was the mastermind behind the whole thing. I can't take credit, for other than, being there for the ride, being taught. And just like Matthew, we learned from him at the hands of the master. And, he did a great job once, she passed and went on.
So why don't people give her the credit? Why don't the press talk about and the media talk about Andretta Tillman as much as Matthew Knowles?
Well, somewhere along the way, I believe that, vanity kicks in. Vanity is a very funny thing. And if you tell yourself long enough, I can check Michael Jordan, I could check Michael Jordan, I could check Michael Jordan. You believe that until you go onto the court and you see Michael Jordan coming in a breakaway and it's just you and him. You're going to either get out the way or become a poster. One of the two. So I think what happened with Matthew and Tina, that as Ann's health waned, that it was a better story to make it look like they did everything.
Right.
Now was it the truth? No.
So why does the media go along with the story then that this is the way Matthew Knowles is the mastermind behind Destiny's Child?
But that's what they were told. I mean, you got to understand, when Andretta died, I left. They didn't have me to come and talk to. And once I left, most of the people that knew other parts of the story, didn't have anything else to say. I mean, wouldn't say anything. So it's only till like now that when I came back with the book that a lot of these people that had never spoken before are talking. And so, you're going to personally hear some stories that has never been told. And it's not going to be stories in which, can be modified by a writer that says you tell them the story and he go write his version of that story. You're going to hear from the people's own mouth that's never been heard before. And in the documentary, and that's why we chose to do the documentary instead of doing a biopic and a movie or something like that. We want to give these people opportunity to tell their story, to tell what really happened. And so that's what we're doing there.
What have you learned from biopics and previous movies or that have come out that for you has made you go down the documentary route?
Well, I think you can only tell the story one time in movie form. Right. And to say, okay, we're going to do a biopic that's going to be more directed to, what the girls' experiences. And then the movie would be based off of the overall, the book, The Making of a Child of Destiny. Then it made more sense to, I'm telling the same story twice or in a different way or telling more stories about the kids in the biopic. So this way, I felt it was only fair to allow these people to the opportunity and to shed light, let people know, bring Andretta to life, let her sister and brother talk about the type person she was, some of her best friends, some of the guys that were in all these groups, what she did for them, give them opportunity to talk. And so I'm so happy that we're able to do that.
Wow. That's going to be something great because I think people need to know the truth about, first of all, Andretta Tillman, Destiny's Child, and how they came together and really what the true story is. I see a lot of biopics either getting shut down or people getting very angry at biopics. Actresses taking on certain roles. There's a lot in America going on at the moment of people taking on roles and people being upset about it. There was one about Whitney Houston, and there's a lot of stuff about the Whitney Houston thing. People getting very upset, close to family. With your situation here, what's been the sort of feedback you've had?
Well, the feedback is, their fans want to see the story. They want to know the story. And that's one thing that's been happening. A lot of more people are more interested. They want to know the true story, and they're just waiting. So we haven't had any negative feedback or negative backlash. Of course, people, think that anything telling the story about Andretta Tillman is going to hurt or tarnish the image of Beyonce, when that's not necessarily true. I mean, there are culprits that and events that happen that are shameful across the board, but it don't shine a light on or hurt B or Kelly or any of the other girls. They were young. They just we did what we had to do to make some things happen. And I mean, some things I did I wasn't proud of, and I'm sure Tina and Matthew and the others that were involved are the same.
Talk to me about Beyonce. Another thing I know we spoke about before in the previous interview, for those people who haven't heard that interview, you talked about Beyonce not being the lead singer from the start.
Right. So from the start, Tamar Davis, who people recently saw in The Voice, and you saw how wonderful her voice is. Tamar was the lead singer. Beyonce was, quote unquote, the second lead singer and the background singer. But it wasn't, excuse me, it wasn't until an incident in California where Tamar had some issues with delivering the needed vocals as well as staying in pocket. And Beyonce got an opportunity based off of, sitting by me, and I stopped the session and said, hey, give B a shot. And B told me she could do it. She went in and did it. And basically she's never looked back. She's always been, B's always, everybody knew she was going to be a star. So it was, but she wasn't then. When we were trying to get a record deal with a bunch of young girls, Tamar had a grown person voice at the time. Beyonce was still growing into her voice.
So tell me a bit more about Tamar. And obviously she didn't go through the Destiny Child's route in that sense. Well, what's the story of her? And obviously, how's she feeling? Obviously, because Beyonce's become this big superstar. What about Tamar?
Well, Tamar, in fact, I just spoke with her the other day, and wished her well for on The Voice and everything. Tamar is an exceptional talent, but for some reason or another, through her career, from my observation, even when she was with us, she's always had these hiccups. She get right there, and it's stepping over the threshold has always into that big limelight of big fame has always eluded her. Just like The Voice. I mean, if song selection is everything, and there's no way she should be at home now. But you pick the wrong song and try to go for an audience that is not what you do, then you end up at a house.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit more. The book, Making of a Child of Destiny, correct?
Yes, sir.
I believe it's had some attention by Randy Taraborrelli.
Randy Taraborrelli.
Let me make sure I get the gentleman's name right. Tell us a bit more about Mr. Taraborrelli.
Don't really. I mean, I spoke with Randy's assistant, spoke with him a couple of times about it after they had read my book and everything, and they informed me that they were writing Beyonce biography. And I was like, okay, fine. I've said what I had to say. You are a writer. You're an award-winning writer, so I assume you can do a much better job of telling the story than I did, because I was just telling the story. But then, from that, everybody was aware of becoming Beyonce and things like that. But the thing that's kind of come back to me was that, like, hey, other people that have read his book and read mine, is that, he basically told the same stories that were in my book, in his book. Instead of, I thought, you would expand on, if you're going to interview these people, you're going to tell other stories. That's not just a one event that happened. Right. So, why would you be telling the story that's in my book other than, some other things that, he expounded on. Right. But, as a whole, I like the book as a whole. And like I say, the people that, we'll be interviewing and things of that nature, they, said a lot more things and they want to actually say their piece because they don't feel they were well represented. So that's another reason the documentary is so important.
Now, Randy Taraborrelli, I know he's covered a lot of big well-known public figures. Was it the Kennedys? He did a book for, was it not?
Oh yeah, he's done some great books. He's done Michael Kennedy's, Diana Ross, Frank Sinatra, Madonna. So I mean, he's a celebrity biographer, I guess.
Right. Okay.
So like I say, I felt he could do a better job than I could.
Yeah.
So I thought.
That didn't quite work out to be the case.
well, for some people, they like my book better, and for his fans, I'm sure they like his.
Now, the backlash of the book, one of the things that came through the media, you never know if its sources is correct or not, or if it's legit, but supposedly Beyonce's handlers said that she was deeply disappointed by the comments that were made in the book.
I never heard that. I heard the one where she said that she felt betrayed or something. They said she felt betrayed.
Well, there's that one as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. Look, I can't go in and write history just to appease, Queen Bee. I mean, it is what happened, whether she was aware of it or not. As a kid, that's a different story. I mean, it is what happened. I told the story, lightheartedly, and as the way it happened from what, my recollection and the events that occurred. I wasn't writing the book to hurt anybody or to get anybody approval.
Okay, Destiny's Child is not just about Beyonce. Let's talk about Kelly Rowland. What's going on with Kelly?
Love. Well, let me be on record. I love all my girls.
Right.
They still my girls. Love Kelly. Like I said, briefly had some interactions with her, and Kelly is class act all the way. And I just love her to death, and so proud of her, what she's doing with Chasing Destiny, and wishing her the best, and all of them the best. I mean, you in my position, it's like, I'm just a proud parent that happen to have some beautiful daughters, and and I have my own beautiful daughter, and so it's just a case of being able to sit back and watch their success and know that every time they get a Moon Man or a Grammy or American Music Award, that a piece of me is part of that. So it's just been a great journey.
Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl. I've got to ask you about it. The Super Bowl.
Okay.
Beyonce.
She got information.
Your thoughts? Was that a proud moment as a dad, or was it something else?
No, yeah. Anytime. One thing about it, anytime I see the girls, it used to, when Andretta first died. Let me go on record. When she first died, it was hard for me to even listen to their music, because it's like you had all these dreams. You had this person that was driving this whole thing, and I could not quite come to terms with the fact that this person is not here, that has done all this work, and and all the success you're enjoying, the success that they're having. So it took me a minute to to come to heal, I guess you could say, then to realize that, hey, it's all good. What we did was a good thing. And so then after that, I just became the proud parent that I always was from time B was 10 and we're in the studio, or Tamar was in the studio, and Kelly watching them. And, Kelly couldn't dance that good at the time, but, so even then, just being proud. And that's all you can be is proud about their accomplishments and things they've done. And wish them nothing but the best.
So you'll say that you're proud of what Beyonce did at the Super Bowl?
Yes. I mean, why not? What she did was, even if I don't know what the intention was, but if it's to, 50 years of the Black Panthers and you want to, pay homage to them, so be it. It's not like they went out and, did, horrible things according, to history. And the police say they did, but, I don't know. I'm a Black man growing up in America. So, hey, I'm going to be biased to that point.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on.
Yeah.
The book, The Making of a Child of Destiny. Apart from Randy Taraborrelli, what's been the media response to the book?
Well, it's been like, for me, it's been like running for president. I've been vetted. Trust me, I have been vetted over and over and over. And, you know, then you get those that, you know, hear the story. They are like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Then it's like, but I can't tell the story. So then, you know, I'm like, well, why can't you tell the story? Well, you know, if we tell this story, we won't be able to get Beyonce to do other things. And you know, having her on the cover of some of these magazines is more important than telling the Andretta Tillman story. So to make it a long story short, that's basically, you know, what you deal with.
One of the comments that we recently picked up on the station was that there's more stuff coming out about Beyonce and Matthew and music that doesn't really belong to them, I've heard. And tell me more about this.
Now, I have no idea about those things. I do know that there is an album that Andretta Tillman paid for and recorded when the girls were Girls Time that will be coming out shortly. So, you know, that'll be something to hear, you know, that, you know, the manifestation of the girls from little girls and the different things they did. So, but Beyonce and Matthew, what they do and what they are and have now, I have no knowledge of that. Like I say, when I walked away 17 years ago, or 18 years now, I have not had any contact with them whatsoever. And so, and it was deliberate because I didn't, you know, when I decided to open up and write the book, I didn't want anybody saying, oh, you're writing a book because you're mad or you called them and you want something. That's not the case at all. I wrote the book because, you know, I wanted people, the world, to know about Andretta Tillman and the wonderful woman she was and the great sacrifices she made to get Destiny Child and Beyonce where they are.
The documentary. Let's talk about the documentary. When does filming begin?
Well, we've already started filming.
Okay.
And but we have a big weekend this weekend. So this will be the weekend we go to the Dallas-Fort Worth, Tyler, White House area, Texas,
Okay.
which is Tyler and White House is and where she's from. So we'll get to go talk with, you know, her sister and brothers, some of her childhood friends, get to actually the group taste, if you remember from my book.
Yes.
The group taste after what 18 years, 19, almost 20 years, for the first time they'll be reuniting and be on the documentary, in the documentary, you know, on stage. And so I'm so excited to, you know, hear them because I think they were probably one of the best groups that never got heard. Okay. You know, in the realms of Boyz II Men, Jodeci, and all that, you know, you could put taste with them and they could hold their own, if not outshine them. But so I'll be excited about that. We'll get to visit Ann's church, you know, where she was married, where she buried Dwight and her daughter Shauna, and where she was buried, sadly. And then even go by the cemetery and different things and see her school and stuff. So I've never been to White House or Tyler, so I'm excited about that, to just, you know, kind of walk in the path that my friend had, the footsteps that she walked.
Wow. So it'd be an emotional time, right?
I'm hoping not, you know, because I ain't no punk or nothing. So, but you know, it is what it is. It probably will be, more than likely will be, because like I say, you know, you're getting people to open up and talk about incidents that happened years ago that are closed wounds. And now, you know, here we are going in with her son Amon, who's, you know, one of the executive producers as well, going in with him and getting, you know, these people to open up and say, okay, hey, you know, what happened when mom, you know, lost my dad and things of that nature. And my sister, what happened, you know, how was she when she was, you know, dying? Was she calling you, you know, when things were getting bad? So it's a lot of wounds that will be open. And, you know, we just got to catch them on camera for, you know, for the world to see and really see who this person was, how wonderful this lady was.
The documentary filming, and you said you started it. What's going to be, who's behind the actual, I know you've got, in terms of like the management structure and how you're going to get it from the filming to the screen? How's that going to work out? Have you got that far down the road yet? Or
yes, we've several media outlets and have reached out to us that are very interested in the final product. So once it's done, we'll look at what's the best avenue to get it to the masses and go from there. We've even heard from some British companies and different things like that.
So your vision for this movie, or this documentary, what would be your vision for it? The end product.
The end product is I want people to finally know who Andretta Tillman was, know the sacrifices she made, know that without her, the great music that you hear from Destiny Child and Beyonce would not be. Would Beyonce could possibly have still been a star? Yeah, she could have still been a star because she was driven that way, but not without the platform that Andretta gave all of them. I mean, I remember times when they were trying to kick Kelly and Latavia out of the group, and said no. No, it's not going to happen. So Kelly owes Ann a lot. So it's a lot of things. I want the world to find out and know and hear these stories out of these people's mouths, not me writing saying this is what he said. Hear it from that. Hear the stories. Hear from like Miss Pat. Things. Some incidents that happened where it's very disheartening to her and as well as to us was that like on her deathbed, that Miss Pat witnessed, Tina having Ann sign over some contracts, 2 hours, 3 hours before she passed. So, it's a lot of things there that a lot of people don't know that happened and how this lady was taken advantage of, because of her illness, but how she kept fighting and she fought to the end. And then once Destiny was fulfilled, she got them that contract and heard those songs that from the upcoming album, it was time to go. And she gave up the ghost then. So it's not all squeaky clean. And I don't want to be the one that's telling the story. I want, these people to be seen on screen because it's easy. I can go write the screenplay, which we've already written for the movie. You can write screenplay and say, okay, this happened, and just straight extract it from the book and just put the scenes in there. But it's more powerful when these people are actually there. They're telling you they've lost their sister. They've lost their aunt. They've lost, their mom. That's what's more important. And then, the fact that you're going to hear people say, hey, and depended on Tina or depended on them to say, okay, hey, when I'm gone, take care of my boys. So even the contract she signed, she didn't have a problem signing the contract because she had an understanding or thought she had a friendship here that they were going to take care of the boys. But that never happened. So, once again, this type of stuff, will be discussed and seen in the documentary. And it's not to shade anybody or try to shed bad light on somebody, but it is to bring conscious awareness to say, hey, maybe I did not necessarily do what I should have done, or maybe, I did not do the right thing. And when you realize you did not do the right thing or whatever, then maybe you still, have time to fix it or to try to make amends. Then the other thing we want to bring awareness is about lupus and how horrible the disease is and, what it did to Andretta's body. And, a lot of people, are not aware of how horrible this disease is. So, we want to bring awareness, total awareness to that and, shine light on that. And, hopefully from there, we've been talking with the Lupus Foundation to where, by her being, the mastermind behind Destiny Child and Beyonce, that, somehow, some of the girls will hear this and see this and go and put a face in front of the Lupus Foundation, and shine more light on it. We can only do so much from our little platform, but if Bean and them get this and Kelly and them get this, hey, they witnessed what it did to Ms. Ann, and hey, just go put a face on it. Put a face on it.
Tell us more about lupus. What is it about for those people who don't know what lupus is?
Well, the thing about lupus is, it's it masks under so many other diseases. It masks itself. Could some say, you know, they could be treating you for cancer when it's actually not that. It could be, you know, liver failure when it's not that. You know, all these it masks under a lot of horrible other diseases that, you know, you can go to the doctor and be getting treated for, and that's not really the problem. The problem is actually the lupus, and that's why they call it, you know, the hidden disease.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you could be laying in there and they're giving you chemo for cancer, and then you think the chemo worked, but you know, you don't have cancer in the body, but it's actually now your kidneys are failing, and you know, they cut Ann's fingers and toes off, and you know, it was just horrible. It was horrible watching, you know, a beautiful person like that, you know, to have to succumb to something like that, and then not be and it's brought on by stress, and the stress that getting the girls contracts and all these different things, you know, it had to take its toll on her. You know, I mean, when you have people coming screaming, hey, we need you to get the deal done, get this done, but then, you know, they run out and take credit for it. But, you know, you're the one talking to all these producers, to the music industry, you know, big wigs and everything, trying to get something done, and, you know, putting deals together and doing side deals and all kind of stuff. But all that stress that came with it. So, you know, as me and her son Amon, you know, talks about, you know, yeah, it sped, you know, she sped her life up, you know, but, you know, that's what she chose. I mean, that was to get the girls out there and to get other acts out there is what she was trying to do, and she did it.
It's definitely a documentary that needs to be out there.
Yeah.
Let's hope the Lupus Foundation can actually be part of the documentary itself.
Well, yeah, we're already talking with them, and they'll be a part of it. Definitely be a part of it. And you know, there are so many other celebrities and that do have lupus, but not the platform of a Beyonce or, you know, of Destiny Child. So, you know, if we can run it up the ladder, then it will be great.
Have you got any plans to bring the girls back together for this as well?
I've reached out. I've called. Well, Amon has called. We some of the girls are going to be in the documentary. Let me just say that some of them will be in the documentary. You know, we're pushing to get all of them. You know, it's not like we're asking them to come in and say, hey, you know, say Miss Ann did everything and all that. You know, we're just, hey, you know, just come talk about Ann, you know, what she meant to you and something like that, you know. So, I mean, we reached out to Kelly and, you know, the B camp and everybody else, and Latavia and Latoya, Tamar, and Nikki and Nina. So, you know, hopefully, I mean, in the perfect world, you know, all of them would come home and say, hey, you know, this is what this lady did for us, and we're forever thankful. And that's all you want, you know, to say.
Okay, let's talk a bit about Dusic music.
Dusic, well, Dusic is actually a social media experience that we've been working on for some years, and we're looking to have the official launch in August, September. And it was just the way that you experience social media will change, but we specifically want to cater to artists, music artists, writers, models. We even, you know, ministries, you know, and different things like that. Producers, you know, to give them a platform, to give them tools that's within the Dusic portal that will assist them in expanding their careers.
Okay.
You know, so because, you know, like one thing Ann and I used to always talk about, the lack of knowledge is what kills most of these artists and things of that nature, you know, and you know, a lot of them don't even know how to copyright. A lot of them don't know that, you know, if I'm a model, you know, I can take ownership of, you know, my photos and things of this nature. So.
Okay, while you're in that point, well, I might as well pick your brain, because the people listening or watching this and will probably want to know a little bit more about the music industry. So, okay, I've got a great voice. I can sing as good as Whitney Houston, or I can sing as good as, I don't know, Michael Bolton. I don't know. I can sing as good as, I don't know. Michael Jackson. I can dance like Michael Jackson. I've got all the talent in the world. But talent only gets you so far. Tell me the top 10 tips to becoming a superstar.
Well, top 10 tips. I mean,
go on. They're always on YouTube, and there's always somebody giving you top 10 tips, even if they haven't done it themselves.
I would think that the first tip is, if you set out to become a superstar,
yes,
you've already failed. Or if your goal is to become an icon, you've already failed. Because that is part of the journey. That's the hard work. So, first of all, I would say one tip is the hard work. You got to put in the work. Second tip, work on your tool. Your tool is going to be your vocal, your dancing, or whatever. You have to perfect those things. Thirdly, surround yourself with a great team. Somebody that believes in your vision and want to see you get there. Fourth, humility. And that is probably should have, I'm not putting them in no necessary order.
But that probably be number one for you.
Yeah, because a lot of these artists don't get places because they're not humble. And people in the industry that have made it, a lot of them are humble people. Even though they may be in these, Spielberg and all these things. You ever see how he gets his award? He don't strut up there like, hey, look at me. It's like, okay, I'm thankful to be receiving this award. So the humility it goes a long way. Then, like I say, you just have to work on the craft. Then, most importantly, I would say, I'm not going to get to 10, but most importantly, it's called show business. You have to learn the business. You have to learn, what is a copyright? Whether regardless of what you are, that is your brand. You got to take care of your brand. You got to know what to give away to record labels and what not to give away if you're a songwriter and all these different things. For models, a lot of models, think just because somebody take their photo that they own the photo. But
go ahead. So
it's so much, it's numerous things, to go into, but I mean, that's one thing that the Dusic platform will be working on to assist people with, getting their career down the road. Not that we'll be in there managing them but we'll put tools in within the system to make it available to assist them and make it a lot easier.
Contracts. If you go on YouTube and listen to YouTube and watch enough videos on YouTube, you'll hear stories of the music industry being the music and entertainment industry being a very dark industry. It's not what it's signed up to be. And you've been to the top, Kenny. You've seen what's at the top. Is it really that dark? Is it really that? It isn't all that it's cracked up to be. I hear that some singers, musicians say that they're slaves to a contract. Prince was at one point arguing and fighting with Warner Brothers. George Michael the same. Michael Jackson. So what is all that about?
If you don't know the business, that's what's going to happen. The business is there to exploit you. It's not there to be your friend. The music industry or entertainment industry is not there to make you rich. It's there to exploit you and exploit your talents. That's what it is. And if you are not knowledgeable, the more knowledgeable you are, the less exploitation will happen with you. So that's the reason why, you can have, I like to use David Ruffin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Guys like The Temptation, or David Ruffin, that, you die poor. He did a lot of drugs and things of that nature. But, a lot of people came out, even out of Motown, getting paid pennies on when they should have made a lot more money. So.
It's interesting you say that. In terms of, I say I'm young, black man, I'm fly, I want to have a music career. How do I find the right management team for me?
Nowadays, because it, I, that's a very hard thing because in the coming along with Andretta and what we did,
yes,
we were there because we loved the girls and would do anything for them. It wasn't about me becoming famous. It was about letting these girls have their dream and living their dream. Nowadays, you have management and things of that nature where it's more important that the management name is out there than it is the artist. So everything is about, self now, and it's not where it used to be more, hey, we're going to get you, help you get there, and people were sincere. And then, even you have nowadays parents, becoming managers and different things like that. And then there's a big conflict because about the money and different things as they go down the road. So finding good management is key, but I think you have to be knowledgeable yourself and realize there's no instant success. Spinners used to have a song to say, easy come, easy go. And if it come too quick, you're a YouTube star, you're on there with your clothes off and things of that nature, it's only going to go one way. You're not going to be there long. You're NFL, not for long.
As a young man, well, he was a young man at the time, singer, was with Prince, I can't remember his name, R&B singer, Tevin Campbell, that's him.
Right.
Well, look, here's an example, a very talented young boy or young man, and then you don't hear anything about him. How does that happen? You be at the top, great voice, still seem great today, but not where he should be. How does something like that happen to someone as talented as Tevin?
But if you don't write, you don't produce your own stuff, then everybody else controls you. They control your destiny. Because Whitney Houston had a great voice. She could control, command who wrote her songs because everybody knew that if Whitney sung a song, it would sell millions. So then what happens is if, you're not on that level and you're just a very good artist, and if people don't want to write songs for you or hits for you, then you're going to have that issue. So you at the whims of somebody else. That's why you should know the music industry. You should know how to write. Even if you can't produce, know how to write.
So how does someone like Tevin Campbell get himself back? Or is it just over for him now in that sense?
I never say it's over because everybody's just one hit away.
Right.
Hey, what's the song? Gangnam Style?
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, you're one hit away, and so I don't never say anybody, that you're down and out. As long as you got breath, you still got a chance to come back. So
in terms of yourself, are you the people you're managing now? What's going on with Kenny and Stars?
Okay, so let me go on record and say that I do not manage anybody. Armand, Andretta's son, is a manager. He's a great manager. He has the management piece over there and he has it covered. I consult him from time to time when needed. But I don't manage anybody anymore. I started to take a stab at it. Then I was like, well, if we put it in this Dusic portal, some of these things that we want to do, then instead of helping one or two, I can help the masses. So I'll manage through what Dusic does.
Any reason why you wouldn't manage anymore?
I don't think the artists nowadays are sincere and what they really want.
What makes you think that?
Everybody wants instant gratification. Everybody wants it right now. Nobody wants to pay the price. Nobody wants to put in the work. What Debbie Allen say, it takes work to get fame. You remember on the show Fame years ago? Yeah. Nobody wants to put in the time and the work. And like I told you on our last interview, there will never be another Destiny Child, even though Kelly's chasing Destiny, because Destiny Child put in the work. that's why Beyonce could jump up now and go to, you know, she was on tour 4 months ago or whatever. Then she had another 6-month tour. The girls know how to work. These other artists, what? They do a 10-city tour and they get sick halfway through. So
interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, I don't want to make sure I haven't missed anything out. Is there anything that I haven't asked you, Kenny? Or is there anything that I missed out on?
I think you've asked me everything. And you know, I'm
Tamar on The Voice?
Yeah. Like I say, we'll be speaking with Tamar in a couple of days, and you know, hopefully, you know, we can put something together to, you know, just allow her to put that talent on stage here in Houston, and you know, let the world see, you know, up close what she can do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On a sad note, there are reports coming out of America and out of Paisley Park that the singer and musician, artist, genius Prince has passed away. Your thoughts?
You know, when people like him and Michael Jackson pass, man, it's like a part of the music dies, because you can't get that back.
No.
You can't get that talent. That's why I say the work. You know, you'll never get artists on stage that can do what Prince did, what Michael Jackson did. You know, Prince get on there, play the drums, keyboards, you know, bass, whatever, the guitar, and you'll never find that talent. And that's very sad to hear from you, Ingram. Yeah, that's very sad to hear.
Yeah, it just shows you, you know, would you say that the music industry then is as not as substantive as it was before then? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I think that's what I said. It wasn't trying. May have been some of it. I think I was saying it.
So if people want to contact you, Kenny, how do they contact you?
You can reach out to us at www.dusic.com. We have our contact information there, or you can reach out to me online at the Andretta Tillman story.com. We're on Facebook, on our Dusic page. Just type DOUSIC and you'll be able to get in touch with us.
And the book. How do people get the book? The Making of a Child of Destiny, the Andretta Tillman story. We've got to end with that.
Yeah, The Making of a Child of Destiny, the Andretta Tillman story. It's at Barnes & Nobles. It's at Amazon. It's on iTunes. You can either get an ebook form or a paperback, whatever. But it's there, and I would encourage you, if you're a reader, you know, to get the book and read it. If not, you're going to see it come to life, baby, anyway.
And on that note, Kenny, I'd like to say thank you so much for talking to Bayloric Worldwide Television. This exclusive with you. Keep us informed, keep us in the loop.
Will do.
And we look forward to hearing the progress of the documentary and, of course, seeing the documentary.
Yes, definitely, Ingram. My pleasure being here again.
Thank you so much, Kenny Moore.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.